Hello fellow YouTubers, this is Bill McFadden from Tone Pure Music, and in this video we'll go over the diminished 7th chords, and then in a shortly following video we'll get into an example of using the diminished 7th chords in a song. So we'll start out by briefly reviewing the half diminished chord and the scale that goes with it. And as you see, we have a scale here from B to B, all white keys, and that gives you the Locrian mode. And if you play every other note, you get the B half diminished. So it actually occurs naturally from B to B, the Locrian mode, and then if you start with the first note and skip a note, then your tetrachord, consisting of 4 notes, is the B half diminished. And that would be starting with B. If you start with C, the Locrian mode, you get that scale, and if you skip every other note in that scale, you get the C half diminished. So you have your C, E flat, G flat, and B flat. And here we have the C diminished, which we went over in the triad video. Here's your C half diminished, which you can get by taking the diminished triad and adding from the third note, which is G flat, a major third, or just add the flat 7 or the minor 7. And then from there, we can get the C diminished chord by flatting the minor 7th one more time. And so now we have our fully diminished C chord. And similarly, if you take your D diminished triad, add the major third to the A flat. In other words, if you add a major third to the last note of the D diminished chord, you get your D half diminished. And then, similarly, if you take that C and flat it, you have the D diminished chord. And then here we have the E diminished triad, add a major 7 to the B flat, and you have the E half diminished. So again, looking at the E diminished triad, as we remember from the triad video, that's a series of minor thirds. So if I started E and go up a minor third to G, and from G go up a minor third to B flat. We can also look at the diminished. If you go up another minor third, then you have the D flat. So the diminished chord, another way to look at the diminished chords is they are a series of minor thirds. It's a very important way to look at them. So here's your E diminished triad. Then if we go up a major third from the B flat, we get the E half diminished. And then if we bring that D down 1, in other words, flat it, then we get the E diminished. So that's the other way. So you can just go from the half diminished to the diminished by just bringing that top note down a half step. And here we have the F diminished. And then if we add a major third to the B, we get the F half diminished. And then by flatting the E flat, so it's really a double flat, we get the F diminished. Or you can just look at the F diminished as a series of minor thirds. F minor third, go up another minor third from A flat, and go up another minor third from B, or C flat as it's written there, and you have your F diminished. So here's our G diminished, And if you remember, we have the G half diminished, and then bring that. Let's see, I guess here, that's the half. And I actually didn't add the notation for the G diminished after that, it looks like. But it's just a series, but the G diminished is just a series of minor thirds. Here we have the G sharp. Oh, I see what happened. I should have written in there, should have put in the G diminished. That instead what I did is I put in the G sharp half diminished. So going to A, we have the A diminished triad. There we have the half diminished. And then if we flat that G, then we have the A diminished. And here we have the A sharp half diminished. And then if we add the major, go up a major third from E, we have the A sharp half diminished. And then if we bring that, diminish that G, then we have the, or flat the G sharp, we get the G, and the A flat diminished, fully diminished. And here we have the C diminished. Okay, so this is just a restatement of all of the diminished chords. You really want to just be able to play them. Like if you want to see diminished, you'll just automatically have that down. D diminished, E diminished, F, G, A, B, and then if I go to the, and then we're back up to the C diminished, and then if we do the sharp keys, C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, and A sharp. So really, you should be very familiar with those positions. So you want to get that in your motor memory. So you can do exercises like go up chromatically, like and you'll see which ones you need to work on. You can do arpeggios. And then I'll do arpeggios with the black keys. And you'll notice certain patterns. For example, with the G, one other thing I want to mention, if you do inversions, here's your G or your C diminished, and if I go up one inversion, I'm actually at my E diminished. If I do another inversion by bringing the bottom note up to the top, I'm actually at my F sharp diminished, and then if I bring that bottom note up, get the next inversion, the F sharp up an octave, then I have the A. So actually, if you take, starting with the C, if you go up by minor thirds, you end back at the C diminished, fully diminished, the C 7th diminished. And then if you were to go to the D sharp diminished and then go up the different inversions, the first inversion is actually the E diminished. The next inversion is the G diminished. And the next inversion is the A sharp or B flat diminished. And then if you go up another half step to G, and then do those inversions, you get the D, you get the F, you get the G sharp, and you get the B. So really you've generated all of the diminished chords by doing inversions of just 3 of them. So you could start with any, like if I start with an F diminished, do the inversions, Then go F sharp, do the inversions, and go G and do the inversions. I would generate all 12 because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And let's see what we got here. Oh, yeah. Okay, we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Then we have C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, and A sharp. So altogether, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a duplicate, an octave higher. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Because you have 12 basic notes in your scale. And then the 13th note, you're back to the tonic. So, and one of the reasons you're generating all 12 is if you start with the C diminished and go up, you've generated 4 unique diminished chords. Then if I go up a half step to C sharp and do the inversions, I've generated 4 more, and then B, D, and then go up. I've generated 4 more, so I've basically included all 12 of the diminished chords. So in reality, some people say they're just 3 diminished chords because if you take the inversions of C, C sharp, and D, you generate all of them. But the same would be true as if you started with C sharp and then did those inversions and D inversions and E inversions. So, but the bottom line, really good idea to learn. Just go chromatically up. And there's a bit of a symmetry. If you look at the C diminished, you have those 2 notes in the middle and these 2 on the end. So 2 black notes in the middle, white notes in the end. And if you go to C diminished, you have black notes on the outside, 2 white notes on the inside. So there is that kind of a symmetry. Now when you go to D, you don't have that same. You've got 3 white notes and 1 black. And then when you go to E flat, you have 2. The first 2 are black and the second 2 are white. And then if you go to E, you have the first 2 are white and the second 2 are black. With F diminished, you have 3 white notes, the second one being black here, which is actually an inversion of D. And here you, with the F sharp, notice you have 2 black on the outside, 2 whites on the inside. With the E, you have your 2 whites, 2 blacks on the inside, which is sort of similar to the C. You have 2 whites, and then, so you have that similarity. And then with G sharp or A flat diminished, you have 3 notes that are white, 1 black. And here you have your 2 and your 2 whites, 2 blacks. Here you have 2 blacks, 2 whites. And then here you have 3 whites, 1 black. So visualizing these patterns actually help you play them. And another interesting thing about diminished chords, if I play a C diminished, notice the first and third are a tritone, and the first and the third note and the second and the fourth note is also a tritone. So in general, a diminished chord is really 2 tritones together. So a tritone, primarily if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 half steps, you get a tritone. Or another way of looking at it, if you go 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, or whole note, whole note, whole note, you get a tritone. And then, so from here, whole note, whole note, whole note, I've got a tritone. So basically 1 whole note, 2 whole notes, 3 whole notes, or 6 half notes is your tritone. So that'll wrap it up here, and in the next video we'll actually get into an example of using the diminished 7th chords in a lead sheet, and that'll wrap this video up for now. So this is Bill McFadden from Tone Pure Music. If you like this video, please click like, and if you want to not miss a video as it comes out, please subscribe. So this is Bill McFadden from Tone Pure Music, signing off.